Hello, good evening. Today I'm going to talk about the steps that I mentioned earlier about interpreting and how these steps are very important in producing the output. We started with the ear to voice span, and we said that the input is what comes in through the ear information wise, which is like the source text or the discourse that's coming into your head. And also there is the output, which is what you are producing, which is usually the TL discourse. We have mentioned about listening, how good listener you have to be. You have to be a very good listener in order to not miss any words and understand really well what's being said. So not only to listen, but to understand as well. And once you understand, it's easy because you are interpreting into your own mother tongue. In other words, you are actually interpreting into your own language. You have got plenty of vocabulary which you can actually know, or it will come to you straight away. So that's not an issue. And you shouldn't have this kind of, you shouldn't be a bag of nerves. You should be very confident. It's not your ideas, it's somebody else's ideas. You're just basically just passing this information. It's communication. It is an activity. It's communicative activity, and it requires you to do this communication between two individuals, but whether they are two individuals or two entities as such. Now there are parameters in interpreting. For example, the form of TL discourse, i.e., what kind of output you give it, it has to be oral, i.e., you have to speak it. You don't write it, you speak it. Second parameter, which is relating to this one, is to do the fact that you are actually perceiving, it's called SL discourse perception modality, which means what? It means that you are actually hearing things. You can't see them the way it's written. It's not written in front of you. You can read and know what the message is about. You are only listening to it. So you are getting the audio only in interpreting. So you have to be very sharp in your audio. And then the other thing is that in interpreting, you are offered the source text once, the SL discourse, you offer it once, i.e. you hear the same person speaking only once. It's not like in written translation. In written translation, you look at the text once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and several times you can do that. You can do it several times. You can read it so many times. But in the interpreting situation, it is offered only once. The SL discourse, or the input, or what you hear, or the source text, if you like, is only offered once. Another point is that it's to do with the fact of communication happening, the time, the element of time. When you are doing simultaneous interpreting, you are really listening and speaking at the same time. So you're listening what they're saying and you are speaking at the same time. So you've got two actions concurrently happening at the same time. Whereas in the other one, which is in translation or in consecutive, you are actually doing it one after the other. In other words, you look at something and then you have time after you finish reading, you will start translating. Whereas in interpreting simultaneous, you listen and you speak at the same time with a bit of a delay. It's called time lag, so long as the time lag is not too far behind. Of course, some people might panic if they miss one phrase or one little thing. No, you don't need to panic. You just only jump to the next meaningful unit and carry on with the speaker, so you keep up with the speaker, that's all. There's also the pace control, okay, where you are actually either constrained, loosely constrained, or strictly constrained with the time, with the pace. For example, if the speaker is very fast, usually what happens when somebody is very fast, because you are two people in the booth, two interpreters, one of them will tell the speaker to slow down. And then the speaker slows down. Because they get excited, you see. These speakers are very excited about their own argument. They want to put it forward and they want to rush and that excited and enthusiastic about it, keen to actually give the idea because they are so convinced about it and they know how to answer it. So that's why they start to give the ideas very fast. Then they need to slow down. Usually in the UN, because they've got already a prepared script or speech, so they are aware there is also that the interpreters are behind them, they are actually interpreting, so they are aware of that. So, and it is more of a conversational, a little bit of an intonation to it. It's not really sort of like monotonous, dull. You need to be a little bit active, like the way the speaker is. That's why you need to see the speaker. So you need to see the speaker either through a window or through a screen, a monitor. You can watch them.